Okay, let's create a biped animation in 3D Studio Max. Just using the human skeleton is what I'm referring to with biped. Um, there's two ways to get to it. First, you'll need to find it. You can come over here to Systems. Let's see. Systems, and then instead of bones, click biped. And you can click and drag to place them in the viewport. Another way to get to it is create systems biped. Okay, so once you place your biped in the document, um, you can bring them to the front. Just click off of it and hit Z. The reason I click off of it is because if I have a bone selected, like this one, and I hit Z, it'll bring just that bone to the front. So that comes in handy. Like if you're working on the head, you can click on the head, hit Z, and it'll bring it to the front. But right now we just want to see the entire skeleton. So bring them to the front, and just to clear up our view here, I'm going to hit G in all viewports. That gets rid of the grid. And if you're seeing wireframe, remember it's F3. You can switch to solid view if you want. Okay, so let's adjust our timeline. Instead of having 100 frames, let's adjust it so that it's 200 frames. And the way you do that is you click on this little icon here, and then just choose 200, where the length is. Hit OK. And you just do this one bone at a time. So I'm going to click on the hand, and I'll click on Auto Key. And in this particular situation, it won't let me place the keyframe by clicking on the key button. I'll have to move it a little bit. That places the first keyframe. And then over here at 50, I can move it up. And then maybe at 100, it's back down. And remember, the computer will do all the work in between. So all the tweening that needs to be done in between, the computer calculates. So remember, each bone is it's like a separate object, even though it's all one biped. So if I click on the other hand, our keyframes go away. See, that's because each bone or object is going to have its own keyframes, its own movement. So maybe this hand goes back. I'll go to 50. And then to 100. See, and then maybe the leg, having it do something else. Maybe the foot does something else. So if I hit play, you can get an idea of what our animation looks like so far. And then we'll want to render it out. So once you're done with your animation, and I want you to do more than this, I want you to really work with it, make them do something, maybe possibly interact with another biped or another object or something. When you render this out, you can hit Shift Q to get a preview just to make sure that your bones are rendering. And then if they're not, you can come over here to Edit Object Properties. And right here where renderable is, if you make sure that's checked, it'll render out. Otherwise, it won't render. Also, in order to render the entire timeline, you'll need to switch down to range instead of just single. This just edits renders a single frame. If you go down to range and then you tell it from 0 to 200 or to 150 or whatever you want it to render here on the timeline. You'll also need to switch over to files, save it as a video file, choose QuickTime. Name it, save. Hit OK, and then click render at the bottom. And you can see that it's rendering.